Chair, we're ready.
Yes, ma'am. Good morning. Welcome to the February 10th, 2026 regular meeting of the Calaveras Board of Supervisors. Will everyone please stand for the pledge? Please stand up. Please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Hopefully the sun comes back out and as nice as it's been the last few days. With that, staff announcements.
Good morning, Chair. For Lisa Medina, Environmental Management Agency, Shauna, and this is Barbara Ann. As you can see, Barbara Ann is a little lively one. She's a spayed German Shepherd mix and approximately 8 months old and about 39 pounds. She's not going to get too much bigger than that. As you can see, she sits for treats. She's really lovey. We found her as a stray on Gold Strike Road, and at first she was really timid and a little anxious and afraid of other dogs and humans. But through staff and our volunteer work, they've been working with her and she has become affectionate and gets along with other dogs now too. She's not going to grow too much bigger. I think she's probably going to fill out a little bit, Shauna, just a little bit. But that's about it. But she's very sweet. She loves to sit on laps and she will bond deeply with her human family. So as always, if you're interested in Barbara Ann, give us a call at 754-6509. If you have another pup, a meet and greet is required. So our Valentine's event this past weekend was real successful. We had two adoptions, one dog and one cat with very many maybes. So we have a few maybes that will be coming in. I think Sarah kind of likes Barbara Ann too. She's been eyeballing Barbara Ann or Martin perhaps. So it was very successful. The event was fun. We got to see our community come out. It was a little cold and it was, of course, Super Bowl, the day before Super Bowl. So we didn't see as many people as we would have liked to, but it was still a great event for our community, getting our program information out there, seeing our people out there, seeing the kids have fun at the event. We had a few food trucks and people partook in those. It was delicious. And of course, I brought donuts for everybody too. That was even, I think I probably ate more donuts than everybody. But it was very successful. Along with that, our partners Focus and CCTV also had another successful day. They brought in $1,658 for the event. So it was really nice. So that's very successful. We want to thank our partners, CCTV, and also our Focus partners for sponsoring the event. So with that, we have our first Focus free rabies vaccine and microchip clinic. And I brought a couple flyers for everybody. I'll just leave them up here. This first clinic will be on Saturday, March 14th from 9 to 11:30. Dr. Mike Hayes will be the attending in DVM. So thank you, Dr. Mike Hayes, for giving us your precious time. The event will take place from 9 to 11:30 here at the Government Center. And so we're really looking forward to that. And I'm saying, let's break the record and get all our Calaveras animals, pups, and cats, rabies vaccines, because it's real important. And with that, I don't have anything else. Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Further staff announcements? Ms. Kashi, good to see you. You look vibrant this morning.
Thank you. Jennifer Cashy, Director of Integrated Waste. Just a couple announcements. Calaveras County was recognized as the top carpet care recycler in all rural areas. So I wanted to extend my appreciation to businesses and residents for taking part in our recycling program. So that's good news. I'd also like to remind folks on January 13th, Megan Osborne, the IWM Director, I did a staff announcement reminding of our, or actually communicating our interest in implementing a load tarp requirement at Rock Creek. Just wanted to remind folks that this will be enforced on February 12th, and the cost of the tarps are at the county cost, which is $8. So just wanted to remind folks that that is on February 12th, that will be implemented.
Thank you.
Yes.
Micah.
Good morning. We just wanted to give a reminder and make sure the board is aware that Caltrans is going to be hosting an open house regarding the State Route 4 ADA Improvements Project. This will be on Wednesday, February 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. at Michelson Elementary School. So this is an ADA improvement project that Caltrans is doing on the state highway to improve pedestrian safety and add curb ramps and a high visibility crosswalk with beacon. So the timing of this project is very critical for us because we have a project that's going to immediately follow on Penn Gulch Road going towards Beanie Park. So we want to make sure everyone's very much aware of the two different projects and how they work together and the timing and schedule and so on. So we encourage everyone who may be interested to attend the open house. We'll leave some flyers here. Jen Herndon is the project manager working very closely with Caltrans on this effort. So if there's any questions about timeline, schedule, or anything else, she'll be a great resource for you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time yesterday to show me the projects and to walk through them with me. I really appreciate it. And to remind everybody about the 25th and meeting with Caltrans. I hope most of my constituents will be there. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Sheriff Whiting.
Good morning, everyone. Our department recently shared information about the passing of former Calaveras Sheriff Bill Nuttall. He served as our sheriff from 1991 to 1994, and then he served as the Angels Camp Police Chief. So much like during the meetings, we give recognition and proclamations, you know, for leaders and people that have served our county and done a lot. We just wanted to say something and just in recognition of Bill and just thank the public for their support. We have such a supportive community and we like to be able to recognize when pillars or leaders in our community that have contributed so much when there's significant things happen. So we just wanted to say thank you. We also, people were inquiring if there was going to be a celebration of life or anything, and we're in contact with the family and they'll let us know. They're still in planning phases. Thank you.
Thank you. Further staff announcements? All right, we'll bring it to the proclamations.
Item 1, proclamation. Clerk of the Board of Supervisors proclaim the week of February 14th through February 20th, 2026 as Kindness Week in Calaveras County and further deem the county as a random acts of kindness zone.
Thank you, Stacy. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one. Whereas National Random Acts of Kindness Week will be observed February 14th through 20th, 2026. And Random Acts of Kindness Day is February 17th, 2026. And whereas Calaveras County has participated in Random Acts of Kindness Week since 2010. And whereas all who live and or work within Calaveras County are encouraged to practice Random Acts of Kindness, a tradition started in Angels Camp by the Jim Bergens family. And now, almost got ahead of myself. I almost pulled a Supervisor Announcements real quick. Thank you for catching me. That was very nice of you. We'll bring it some public comment or any comments to the Acts of Kindness Day, please.
Good morning, Terry McBride, Division II daughter of Kathleen Zane Canella that ran Calaveras County Airport for quite a few years and used to fly Mike Taylor around the elementary schools, and all the youngsters would be out there with a heart, standing as a heart or standing, and really it was wonderful. It brought the youngsters together. Mom would be flying over with her little Taylor craft with Snoopy on the tail and Mike Taylor hanging out of that thing, taking pictures of the youngsters. I knew Jim and his wife, some of the nicest people he ever met, and his dad, Bergantz. I mean, those were a big part of Calaveras County Airport. Really, really good people. I'm so glad that our county continues to honor the effort and work that they put forth. So thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Mr. Stout.
I never come ready to speak, but I'm always prepared. I have 4 Bibles. One of them is stolen. And I draw from the Bible quite often because still in the West, it's the most widely read book. And when it comes to kindness, the Bible says, may truth and kindness not forsake you. Notice that truth is in there. They're part and parcel. They're not separate, even though it says and. They are part of the same thing. So when you're out there doling out your kindness, make sure you're not just doling out niceness and only words. Pause for a moment when you ask how somebody is and listen. It's very important that kindness begins with yourself. Make sure that that you take care of yourself, that you're whole. Make sure that your family is taken care of. Then move out into the community. And from there, move out into the region. Always centering on yourself, that it radiate from yourself. I'm afraid that elected officials are on the fringes of those that we must be kind to. They're out there with potential alien beings from other planets. So, and in fact, in Calaveras County, we often think you're from other planets. So with that, I want you to just remember, kindness is difficult at times, but it's necessary.
Thank you. Further comments? Anything online?
We have no online public comment.
All right, I'll bring it back to the board. Is anything anybody like to say or a motion?
I'll move this item.
Thank you, Mr. Toffenelli.
I'll second.
A second by Ms. Andal. All those in favor? Aye. Passes on 5-0 vote of the board. Now therefore it be it resolved that Calaveras County Board of Supervisors designates the week of February 14th through 20th, 2026 to be Kindness Week throughout the county. Be it further resolved that the Board of Supervisors declares the County of Calaveras be deemed a random acts of kindness zone during the week of February 14th and continue through the 2026 year. I don't think we have anybody here.
Actually, Chair Stopper, we have Debbie Strand here from.
Oh, Debbie.
Or Jared.
Excellent. So, what's the news?
Ready is ready. Perfect, thank you. You know you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. No. We'll kindly move on to the general comment, public comment phase.
Any item of interest to the public that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the board and is not posted on the consent or regular agendas may be addressed during the public comment period. California law prohibits the board from taking action on any matter which is not posted on the agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Board of Supervisors. If public comment is completed before the 30-minute allotted time period, the board may immediately move to the next order of business. If public comment is not completed during the allotted time period, it will be continued as the last item of business in order to provide an opportunity for the remainder of the comments to be heard.
Terry. Good morning.
Good morning. Beautiful day. So I'm going to bring my sign about elections. And we want perfect elections that tell the true vote of the American citizen. And we do that with ID, of course, one-day voting in person when possible. Sometimes, of course, with health, or if you're in the military, we understand that. And that we don't have election machines counting the vote, but we, the people. Once again, we did our election in November. We had a great turnout as always. You know, it's the reality is Calaveras County, as well as the rest of the state, want this. February 28th, we're going to have a town hall at the senior center in Stanislaus. We're going to have Paul Preston, who's the governor pro tempore. I am the senator for Calaveras County and also the president of the Senate pro tempore. Of course, we'll have elections once Congress approves our 51st state here. What I want to mention is that we have an election coming out, and I would hope that you will stand by your magistrate, local magistrate. You have the power to say we're going back to this. You have the power to tell California we're done with elections that people don't trust. You absolutely have that power. It's a constitutional right. And I hope that all elected officials within this county will reconsider going back to what worked for us for decades. And also, this is a matter of community. It's bringing the community together when we go back to polling, because we see people we haven't seen in a while. And it was taken from us. You know, COVID took so much more than I wonder if you guys really, really understand. But one of the greatest things that it took away was community. And it made people afraid to be with each other. When you go to events like this, and usually we'll have treats, you know, but you hear people talking and all that. They have privacy when they do their vote. Nobody sees how they vote. It goes into a clear box. Nobody touches that. And then at the end of the election, then we count out. Yeah, it's all being recorded. Anybody can stay and watch. Nothing is hidden. So the citizens of this county are aware of what the vote is. It needs to be that way statewide. We will have our state Secretary of State there at our meeting on the 28th, explaining again why this is so important. We go back to it. I invite you, as always, please come. I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised by the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry. Mr. Butler.
My name is Christopher Budner, publisher of Calaveras 2026election.com. On January 29th, 2026, I emailed Sarah Edwards, Calaveras County Council, and Ben Stopper, Calaveras County District 5 Supervisor and 2026 Board of Supervisors Chair, lodging a formal complaint concerning Mr. Stopper's capricious enforcement of established rules and procedures for public comments. The infraction occurred on January 27, 2026, during the Board of Supervisors regular meeting, when he allowed an individual 3 minutes and 22 seconds of uninterrupted speaking time, later depriving me of equal time by interrupting the final words of my summation precisely at 3 minutes. Ms. Edwards, a cure and correct response from the county is not optional, it is mandatory. Shifting now to Mr. Huberty. In retrospect, it is not looking as though it was a good long-term strategy for you to have overplayed your connection to the British royal family, basking in Sarah Ferguson's reflected glory. No more reflected glory for you, just the wreckage of your 5-decade association with Sarah Ferguson amid the collapse of her image and her brand, with disturbing new revelations last week detailing previously unknown aspects of her long association with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. How long did you consider it would take before I sleuthed out the unredacted smoking gun email thread connecting you to Jeffrey Epstein from the latest U.S. Department of Justice file dump, or had you even considered that? You know the email thread I'm referring to from June 23rd, 2009, with you as Sarah Ferguson's direct intermediary and emissary, initiating correspondence with Jeffrey Epstein's direct intermediary and emissary, his longtime executive assistant, Leslie Groff. Do you now feel any unease or remorse for having initiated correspondence with the convicted pedophile's executive assistant on behalf of the Duchess, seeking to facilitate a same-day meeting between the Duchess and Jeffrey Epstein during his work release hours while he was serving his jail sentence for a sex crime against a minor? When you emailed a quick note to Leslie Groff on June 23rd, 2009, on behalf of the Duchess, asking if Jeffrey would be available to talk to the Duchess today, you surely would have known that Jeffrey Epstein was a convicted sex offender serving a jail sentence in Florida for a child sex offense following his plea deal in 2008 for soliciting a minor for prostitution. Did you accompany Sarah Ferguson to Jeffrey Epstein's office on more than one occasion or on just one occasion, during which time you believe you met his longtime executive assistant, Leslie Groff, in person? Did you and Sarah Ferguson meet with convicted pedophile Jeffrey Epstein in his office while he was on daily work release from jail, or was it prior to him reporting to jail on June 30th, 2008 for his sex crime against a minor? My name is Christopher Budner, publisher of Calaveras 2026election.com. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Further public comment? Mr. Stout?
I have to give everybody else a chance first. Being kind. Next week, we're gonna have a storm come in. It's gonna be rather a low snow level cold. And it would be very nice if you reminded the community that if they see a homeless person, contact Health and Human Services and see if they can do something in the sheriff department. If they see know of a person in need, Health and Human Services, ATTA, ATTCA needs to be notified. I no longer do a free wood program for the elderly. I used to do that on a regular basis. I'm afraid I'm not as robust as I used to be. I'm not as fat. The fat seems to bring a lot of energy, and since I lost 27 pounds over the last year, I just don't have the vigor to do it anymore. So the people of the county should look other places. Over in Amador County, there's Wood Angels. They do a fantastic job. They're not as robust as they once were. ATCA does not have a program. Look to your neighbors. If you see somebody that in need, please go out there and help them. With that, there's been a lot of news in the Valley Springs news, in fact, regarding Mr. Ben Stopper, and I'm very sorry that it's taken place in your life. We are not all blessed at all times. I've had, health issues. You've had your issues. One thing I can tell you about Ben Stopper is he does something you folks don't do. 80% of your job, 90% of your job is answering the phone. You call Ben Stopper, he answers the phone. Okay. I know the whole thing's not going to play out well, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't be treated respectfully. That includes by you folks too. I saw something on the video. The video was left on the other day, in which some of your colleagues were mocking you. It's not appropriate. At some point, you're going to have to apologize to Mr. Stopper. So with that, I'm going to leave you. Thank you.
Further public comment?
Mr. Sable, do you want to speak?
Give me a little slow. My name's Roger Sable, and I live at 3228 Demon Court, Valley Springs, which is in Rancho Calaveras. We had our house built in '89. We moved in '90. And I'm here to present a signed petition. Because although a lot of these people might not have lived the whole time there, but I've lived there since 1990. And our road has never been touched, sealed, paved, anything. It has the old oil and gravel, which now if you drive on, it's like cobblestone. Of course, they come in once in a while to fix the water problems we have. They've come in, they came in and put in some ditches for natural gas, which we settled. But the road has never been sealed, paved, or anything other than spot problems. We still have down near it's 600 feet long. It has no curbs. I'm not asking, but I've been complaining since maybe 2-3 years after we moved in. Constantly, I've complained to Public Works. I've written a letter to my supervisor, Stopper. I don't see he's here, but I never got an answer. I never got an answer from the engineer I talked to at Public Works. It's been frustrating. In the very beginning, Calaveras had its own little group that you had to get in, complain to about problems with your roads. That's no longer in effect. But I hope at least we get some answers. I've got everybody on this petition, except one. Oh, he was a hard man to catch. But like to turn this in. I have a couple neighbors that came with me, give me some moral support. And
Absolutely. And thank you. Micah, when you have a chance. Any further public comment?
Good morning. My name is Todd White and I work for Senator Marie Alberta Gill, and I think I'll be one of your more boring speakers this morning, but I just wanted to let you know that we are, this time of year, we are getting out to all our Board of Supervisors meetings and City Council meetings and just reintroducing ourselves. State Senate District 4 goes all the way from the Nevada state line down through the foothills, down through the Central Valley, and ends at Death Valley National Park. So geographically, it's the largest part of the district, but Calaveras County is very important to the state senator, and it's a very important part of California. So with that being said, later this month, we'll be doing a mobile office hours in District 4 in Angels Camp, and then we'll also be continually engaged in the State Route 4 issue. I know my colleague Valerie Spake has been involved with that with Caltrans, and that's been an interesting adventure we've all been on. You know, we're generally underrepresented here in the more rural parts of California, and the legislature is dominated by folks that have urban interests at heart. So the senator is dedicated to representing you in the state Senate, and her issues continue to be relatively the same. Public safety, wildfire prevention, lowering insurance costs, and lowering the cost of living, particularly for people in the rural areas. So I've said this before, I was born and raised in Placerville, and Alberta County Board of Supervisor meetings are interesting, but they're not this interesting. I'll have to make it out here more often. So thank you for your time, and I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks, sir. Is there anything online, Ms. Simpson?
No.
One last chance for everyone in the room. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Consent agenda items are expected to be routine and non-controversial. They will be acted upon by the board at one time without discussion. Any board member, staff member, or interested party may request the removal of an item from the consent agenda for later discussion.
First of all, before we have any staff pull anything, Mr. Mauer, is there anything the public, our former planning commissioner, would like to pull? I mean, not commissioner, but director. Thank you, sir. That's all. Apologize about that. Anything the board would like to pull? Staff?
Good morning. I'd like to pull number 5 to come back at a later date.
Thank you, Jimmy. Anything from the public that you would like to pull? All right. We don't have to do a vote on the later date for number 5, do we?
No, that's fine.
Right. Excellent, perfect. With that, I'll entertain a motion for
I'll move.
a motion by Mr. Hubbard,
I'll second.
a second by Ms. Andal. All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes on 5-0. That are board. Thank you. Yeah, we'll do a 5-minute break and while majority's in place. Ms. Simpson?
Item 14, Agreement Behavioral Health, authorize the board chair to execute agreement 10622563 with Rite of Passage Adolescent Treatment Centers and Schools, Inc. for the provision of behavioral health services for the period of July 1, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, in an amount not to exceed $750,000.
Miss Alt?
Good morning, Board Chair. This item was originally on as consent in August 2024, and it was pulled so that we could tighten the language and meet with council regarding some other things. And so now it's brought back before you today, and it is backdated, so it's now on regular agenda. Due to being backdated. Any questions?
Board members? Seems like there's a lot of questions. Public comment? Is there any questions, Ms. Alt, that you would like to answer?
No.
All right.
And Chair,
That's,
Chair, there's no public comment online.
okay, thank you, Ms. Simpson. See, I got a question answered. That was very kind of you, Ms. Simpson. Sure.
I mean, if you're gonna, well, I'll move it if you're saying.
I think that's where we're at.
I mean, I don't have anything.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Ms. Handel, second. Nailed it. Second by Mr. Hubbard.
I think you're supposed to say, make sure they're on time, like something, like,
Yeah.
no more backdate, like.
Yeah, I turned it around backwards, didn't I?
Yes, okay,
Okay.
yeah, the motion, second.
Yeah, second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Doesn't seem there's any opposed. I can uncomplicate this even more next time, I hope. So,
Thank you.
thank you. Ms. Simpson.
Item 15, informational item, public health. Receive part 2 of a presentation from the Calaveras County Public Health reporting on the state of health in Calaveras County and the department's goals for addressing it.
Colleen. Wonderful to see you this morning.
Public health leadership here today.
And they all have great smiles like you do. so
They are
Good.
fantastic. So much. Appreciate it. Well, good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure for us to be presenting to you this morning. My name is Colleen Rodriguez. I'm the Director of Public Health here in Calaveras. And we are your public health leadership. And so we are going to be presenting a variety of what we hope is going to be really interesting information for you today. I think you can see up on the slide all of the things that we're going to cover. I think we'll just go ahead and get started.
Good morning, Carrie Biker, Business Administrator for Public Health. This slide provides a snapshot of who lives in Calaveras County and sets the context for the health indicators that will be discussed later. Our population is 45,995, which reflects a slight increase from last year. While growth is modest, it's important to note that our community continues to trend older. The median age in Calaveras County is 52, and 29% of our residents are 65 or older, which is nearly double the California average. This aging population has significant implications, for healthcare demand, chronic disease management, and access to services. The uninsured rate in Calaveras County is 6.6%, which is an increase from last year from 5.8%, which represents, while this may seem relatively small, even minor increases can place additional strain on emergency services and our safety net programs. The median household income in Calaveras is $79,877, showing a slight increase from 2024 as well. However, this countywide figure can mask disparities, particularly for seniors on fixed incomes. Calaveras County has 27,579 housing units, which is also a slight increase from last year. Housing availability and affordability remain key factors influencing workforce retention, access to care, and overall community stability. So overall, these demographics highlight a county that is aging, largely rural, and experiencing gradual growth, all of which will directly shape our public health priorities and service planning. All right, Haley Bugarin, Health Education Program Manager at Calaveras County Public Health. Next, we're going to take a look at our social drivers of health. These are also kind of known as our roots of health, but really known as our non-medical environmental conditions where people live, work, and play, and essentially in the long-term impact or have significant impacts on health outcomes. So similar to some of Kyrie's points, but on top of that, we have food insecurity where we sit at 13.1%. This is a slight bit higher than our neighbors in Amador and Tuolumne, which sit at 11.9% and 12.3% respectively. Additionally, we have our housing insecurity, which measures the percentage of adults or households that are unable to pay rent, mortgage, or utility bills in the last 12 months. We sit at approximately 10.6%, which is very similar to our neighbors as well in Amador and Tuolumne. And then for unemployment rates, this actually is a different number that we have more updated for 2025. This is a conglomerate of the past 5 years, but we've actually improved significantly to about 6.3% for unemployment rates, although that is a slight bit higher than Amador and Tuolumne, which sit at 5.2 and 5.9% respectively. On top of that, we have our poverty rate, which is currently 13.4%. And this is very similar to our neighboring counties as well, although a slight bit higher than Tuolumne County at 10.4 and Amador at 8.2. Thank you.
Hi, good morning. My name is Sherry Murbach and I'm a public health program supervisor. And we're going to start talking about some key health indicators in the county. First up is the top leading causes of death. And for our county, those are cancer, heart disease, and unintentional injuries, which includes things like opioid overdoses, motor vehicle accidents, falls, and accidental poisonings. When we talk about health outcomes, we like to talk about factors that increase our risk of developing those outcomes. And what of those can we actually impact, right? Things like age and genetics, we don't have control over, and those things do increase our risk for some of these outcomes. However, they all have, there's a lot of things that we can modify to prevent our risk. And so specifically for cancer, that's things like tobacco and alcohol use, diet and environmental exposure. For heart disease, again, it's tobacco use, activity level, and diet. And then even for unintentional injuries, things we can modify are related to things around substance abuse, access to safety equipment, and also environmental hazards. Next, we'll talk about the prevalence or rate of chronic disease in the community. And so these are more of those like long-term lasting health issues that residents are dealing with. The top 4 in this county currently are diabetes, heart disease, high blood pressure, and chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, or COPD. Again, there's a lot of different things that go into people developing these. Age and genetics do play a factor, but again, all chronic disease really has some modifiable things related to activity, nutrition, and preventative screenings that we can do. And so while it's really important to also do education to impact individual knowledge of preventing these things, it's also really important we look at systematic or policy level changes that impact the environment to support more healthy behaviors.
Morning, supervisors. Justin Barnes, public health program supervisor. So Sherry mentioned some of the physical aspects of key health indicators, but it's also important to consider things like behavioral health and mental health, as these also have downstream consequences to our physical health. So in Calaveras County, we see a rate of binge drinking that sits at around 15%. We also have tobacco use that hovers around 13.4%. And we have opioid emergency department visits that sit at 23%. Now, when we look at mental health, it's important to consider that loneliness figure right there that sits at 32.1%. We highlighted our demographically older population, and one thing we know, we have lots of evidence that has shown, the Surgeon General in 2023 highlighted this, that social isolation and loneliness has tremendous impact on downstream health. So when we think of our older adults that may be geographically isolated, being lonely can cause negative health outcomes. So we see a rate of depression at 23% in Calaveras County, our loneliness figure at 32%, and we have mental distress that sits at 16.7%. All of these can have profound impacts on our downstream overall health. Now, we also have health indicators for our maternal, child, and adolescent health, a fancy way of saying moms and their children. So when we look at live births, Calaveras sits right in between our neighbors in Tuolumne and Amador at about 1,141 live births. We look at Medi-Cal payments as a health indicator, as that indicates the insurance status of this population, and we do trend a little bit higher than our neighboring counties. And unfortunately, a figure of note here is our child poverty rate, which sits at about 5% higher than our neighbor Tuolumne and about 10% higher than our neighbor in Amador County. Obviously, child poverty can have tremendous effects on their overall health and their ability to achieve optimal health as they grow up.
Good morning. My name is Courtney Atnip. I'm a HHSA program manager with Public Health. And mine kind of ties it all together as the end result. It's the healthcare access. 32% of Calaveras County members are covered by Medi-Cal, which the statewide average is 33%. So that means one dentist for every 1,667 Calaveras County community members, one primary care provider for every 2,380 Calaveras County community members. And California has an average ratio of one primary care provider for every 1,639 community members. Also, the disparity is with mental health. They have one mental health care provider for every 301 community members. So it kind of shows a huge disparity within it.
Good morning, Amy Eves, First Five Calaveras Executive Director. While we've outlined some health challenges, it's equally important to highlight what Calaveras County is doing well, because these strengths are what makes progress possible. First, collaboration is our defining strength in our county. Agencies consistently work across departments and sectors to build a healthy community. By coordinating services and using funds efficiently, we reduce duplication and improve outcomes for the people we serve. This partnership approach allows us to do more with limited resources and ensures families experience more seamless support. We also benefit from committed leadership that understands the realities of rural public health. County and community leaders are willing to support innovative, locally driven solutions when state and federal approaches don't fully meet our needs. That flexibility allows us to address gaps proactively and tailor programs specifically for the people of Calaveras. And most importantly, our residents themselves are a major strength. Across the county, people look out for one another, pitching in, providing support, and sticking it out when times get hard. This resilience strengthens prevention efforts, improves trust in services, and creates a culture where families are willing to seek help when they need it. Together, these strengths, collaboration, leadership, and community resilience, give us a solid foundation to address the challenges we've discussed and guide our next steps forward.
So as you can see, we have an amazing group in public health. I'm really proud of the work that our group continues to do, and particularly in these interesting times. So looking ahead, our future goals really focus on continuity, data-driven planning, and strong community partnerships. We will finish up our 2024-26 Community Health Improvement Plan, also called a CHIP. We'll be continuing to work with community partners and to implement the identified improvement strategies. We're also going to initiate our 2027 Community Health Assessment, or a CHA. We like to abbreviate everything in public health. This process will allow us to collect updated local data and get community input to identify emerging needs that will inform our next CHIP. So it's CHA, then CHIP, and it just goes on. We will also be adapting services within Health and Human Services to respond to the rapidly changing landscape. And we are going to need to be prioritizing critical needs, making strategic adjustments, and really adjusting things within existing resources. Resources are changing pretty quickly. and really addressing the things within our challenge-ship that we will find. Finally, we will be hosting the 2026 Health Summit. All of you will receive invitations to that, more details to come, but it is an opportunity for us to bring our partners together, strengthen those collaborations, and really share successes and challenges from across the region. And together, these efforts are going to support informed decision-making and improved health outcomes for our community, which is our goal. We really appreciate the opportunity to present to you today, and we are happy to take any questions. We also encourage everyone in our community to visit our website, which is here, give us a call, or even stop by the office. We have a lot of resources, we have a lot of information, and as you can see, we have amazing staff who are really passionate about serving our community and are happy to do so. So happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Colleen. Mr. Hubbard.
Yes, I had two quick questions. One for Haley. How do you factor or what constitutes the poverty rate?
So it's 150% below the federal poverty line. So whatever the median or whatever the income of that individual is.
Got it.
And so if they are 150% before or below the FPL, that's what counts them.
And then I had a quick question for Justin regarding tobacco. On the e-health page, kids versus adults. One of the things that I saw when I went to Bret Hart the other day was the vaping, and that's an issue with children. That was good. I just was curious to know how much of that percentage was kids versus adults.
In that particular figure, we'd have to examine the data to parse out that information. All this data is aggregated to give you a holistic picture. I can say anecdotally, we are aware of tobacco use on campus, vaping in particular. We know it's on the rise, and it's getting younger and younger in age groups. And Sherry Murbach, our new, oh, there she is, program supervisor, vaguely gesture over here. She's actually the supervisor for our tobacco program, and she's paying special attention to that population and efforts we can do to mitigate their tobacco use.
Super, thank you.
And I will just add to that, that tobacco use by adults and youth, but very much with adults, is historically really difficult in rural communities because we are aggregated together. And so that's where the CHA is going to be helpful. We may be able to get more local information about that. So
thank you.
All these acronyms, you know, I hear CHA after smoking, and it's like, oh, they switch over to chew for a second.
that is also an issue. Yes.
Very much so, and it
Yeah.
goes along hand in hand with the other vaping things, and
Yeah.
But a lot of statistics and coming down these numbers, they're very important for how we address things in the community. Were you done, Mr.? Yeah. Good. But we do miss things like, you know, the median poverty line or household income, you know, they're only going off of what numbers you have. And there's a vast amount of people out there that aren't in the numbers because they don't have an income. And so, you know, from my perspective, when you actually go through these type of numbers and put these type of things together, you're missing a whole factor, and you're actually rising the median household income because these people just aren't on the radar. So yeah, and I mean it jokingly, but you know, 89% of statistics are made up on the spot, and if you put a tense position behind it, 92.3% of people are more likely to believe them. But you know, that's not saying your statistics are wrong. It's just there's so many factors into going out, and you're only hitting a portion of the population tonight.
So
I think it's worse than what you're saying in some instances, slightly better in others.
And yes, statistics are not perfect, particularly in rural communities. Getting data in rural communities is really hard. We also know that portions of our population aren't going to respond to a survey. They're not going to respond to a knock at the door. They're not, you know, so I think for us in public health, data gives us, it's just that, it gives us a baseline, and it gives us an area to look at where we can improve and start. I also want to say, though, a really important part about data is that behind that data are people.
Mhm.
So they're not just numbers, they're our community members, they're our neighbors, they're our friends, our family, they're us. And so, but again, if we can't measure something, we won't really know if we're successful. You know, I think a lot of times we like to tell stories, and stories are an amazing way to communicate information. We also need, though, to make sure that with our limited resources, that we're really putting them in the best way we can. But I agree, for the most part, rural communities are dramatically underreported in almost every single data point across the state. And we advocate that point all the time to the state. They are very aware. They see me coming and they say, okay, I know, yes.
And thank you for bringing it up. Behind those numbers are people.
Yeah.
And it's like, even with campaigning, canvassing, you know, and actually getting out and talking to those people is huge, because you really get to know your community. So thank you for all the great work you do. Any further? Mr. Toffenwell?
Well, thank you for all that information. That kind of shuts down a little bit of what I was going to say, because all the information is very good information, and it shows that we're a little bit behind our other counties that are surrounding us. But the one data that sticks out to me, which is very positive, because nowadays there's a lot of it going on and you hear about it, is the diabetes data that we have here. It shows that we are below state with the diabetes, and it is just overwhelming right now all over, not only California, but the United States. So I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
And I think Supervisor Tofinelli and everyone, there is actually a lot to be proud of in Calaveras. We would not want you to see this presentation and think this is all bad news. Again, data is data. But what it does for us in public health is help figure out how we're going to steer the ship and how we're going to use the limited resources we have. We would love to address all of the needs of the public health needs within our community. But we can't do that. So we have to make decisions, and those are data-driven decisions. So yeah, I appreciate you highlighting that as well. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, addressing all the issues for the community. A lot of times I see you using the limited resources you have to be able to help people, facilitate them helping themselves, which is another great tact.
Yeah, ready? I just wanted to say I appreciate the response that you have to the data. And I know I've told you this before, I love the street medicine, going out and doing that because of our lack of providers. I've talked to countless people that discovered they have high blood pressure, for instance, at one of your clinics. So I think that's huge. Keep doing that. And I think it's kind of having that community outreach. The loneliness, 32% is super concerning to me. And I know that at one point you had tried a senior program and didn't have a ton of success, but I'd love to steer the ship that way somehow, someday, and reach those people. And yeah, just the chronic disease other than diabetes, gosh. So thank you for responding to that and trying to reach people.
Yeah, and the street medicine, I really want to acknowledge the passion of our health education team. Without the health education team, that model wouldn't have happened and it wouldn't continue. It takes a tremendous amount of work to get folks onto the van, but then get folks to come to the van and be willing to come and get their blood pressures taken or get the different things. So we're going to keep doing it. You know, we believe that it's our responsibility to get to the community, not expect them to come to us. And so we're doing our best to be able to serve everyone in that way. So thank you.
Public comment. Online.
We have no online public comment.
Thank you so much, all of you. We appreciate the work you do for the
Thank
community.
you.
Simpson, our next exciting agenda item.
Item 16, action item, human resources, adopt a revised county telecommuting policy effective February 10th, 2026.
Good morning, Board Chair, members of the board. Nick Marvin, Human Resources Manager for the county. We are bringing forward to you today a updated policy to our telecommuting policy. As you are aware, we had a temporary policy during COVID. We then came out with our permanent version of that policy. We've had a few years to go through it. We've seen what works, what doesn't work, work with the departments, talk to the employees, see what we can do to make it better. And so those are the changes that we are bringing forward today to try and help that out. A lot of it is clarifying language such as the definitions, really identifying what is telecommute, what's remote work, what's telework, all that. Just trying to clean it up so that so it doesn't confuse people on how that language is in there anymore. We've also added in the language regarding out-of-state telework. This is something some departments already have in place. They already have their own separate procedures in place for that with this policy. We are just putting that in this policy so that everyone can see it, and so it does apply to all of our employees. And so with that, I just wanted to see if you have any questions on that, or if there's any further direction with this item.
I just have, thank you. One silly, stupid question. I did see, and I apologize if I missed it, that there is a line in there that says you can't charge back for utility usage if you are working.
Yes.
But I didn't see anything about office space, and I would want to make sure that we weren't being charged.
No, we are not.
But I didn't see that in there. Is it in there, just out of curiosity?
No, I don't think, there's nothing specific to office space.
Yeah.
The point of it is that it's mainly their office from home, but there is nothing in there about specific office space being charged back.
I just want to make sure we don't get charged.
Right, yes.
Well, they have to provide pictures of where they're working from and
Yes, they
everything else. So if it was this office, we'd be able to say no.
Yes, and we have, that has happened in the past. If they're not working from home, or if it's, the photos come straight to us in HR as well. So I review those, or they go to Judy if I'm not available to review those as well. And we have called them on that before, saying like, okay, like, can you send better pictures from further out, like, so we can get a better idea of what that space looks like.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
I mean, pictures, that gives us an idea of the work environment.
Yes.
I mean, beyond what we already have here, is there any further ideas on how we can make sure people are actually working during that time?
With that, we do have some departments, not all of them are probably as capable of doing this. We do have procedures in place like eligibility specifically, where they are able to track who is in the CalSAWs at what time, when they log in, when they log out, and making sure that they are actively working in the systems. As far as that goes, there's not much more else we can do, or what everybody else can do with that. It's kind of an integrity system, making sure that they are reporting their time correctly.
And the direct department, how, who and when they implement it and everything else, I think that's part of it.
Yes.
The understanding.
Yes, exactly. And we do have in there that they do have to be able to be, they have to respond within a certain amount of time. They have to be reachable by the department. They can't be not returning phone calls. They need to be available during work hours.
That's probably
Yes.
a good thing, right?
Yes. Ideally, yes.
If there's nothing else from the board, I'll ask for public comment. Uh-oh. Yeah, public comment.
Judy Hawkins, HR Director. I did just want to kind of clarify, one of the things when we talk about making sure people are working from home, it is up to the department heads, the managers of the staff, to put procedures in place, making sure people are meeting their work goals, things like that. So it is up to the departments, because each one has different ways of monitoring the work. And so it is up to them. It's impossible for us to put in a policy exactly how each department's going to monitor their staff. So they do need to make sure work's getting done, goals are being met.
Okay, online comment?
We have no online public comment.
And thank you, Judy. That's for the input on the staff side of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Is that it? Sure. That's what I'm. Oh, here, yeah. Do I have to twist your arm, Miss Andal? Kindly twist your. Okay.
I will make a motion.
I'll second.
That it was painful for you, wasn't it?
Yes.
No, it won't. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you. Next item.
Item 17, action item, economic and community development. Provide staff what direction on whether to support Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority's request to amend the existing agreement to include its partnership and the transfer of the Foothill Terrace property to Great Valley Housing Development Corporation.
Good morning, Chair Stopper, Honorable Board, Kathy Galino, Economic and Community Development. Today, I have an item before you to discuss the Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority project at Foothill Terrace. This is a grant opportunity through the Regional Early Planning grant process that we were awarded. So first off, I'd like to talk a little bit about the project and the background. On September 12th, 2024, the county executed our Housing and Community Development Grant Agreement in the amount of $1,747,972.21. The REAP funds are designated for pre-development activities, including securing land entitlements, property acquisition, studies, surveys, permit fees, utility connections, and infrastructure improvements. These funds will allow the county to promote the construction of housing to assist the needs of our workforce housing, earning up to 120% of area median income. And it also will help us with our RHNA numbers, which are our regional housing needs allocation numbers that we are assessed by the state. The REAP funds there was an extension provided at the end of last year. Initially, the funds were to be expended by June 30th of 2026. And they extended it to December 31st, 2026. In March, the board approved the county's notice of funding opportunity and the competitive grant process. We released a solicitation to several public organizations, as well as posted it in the newspaper, social media. We received 2 responses to that notice, and one of them was selected and taken to the board on June 24th, 2025. The board executed the agreement with Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority. The project proposes constructing 26 housing units at the Foothill Terrace subdivision here in San Andreas. In September, Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority submitted their first reimbursement request to the county. And at that time, it was discovered that some of the reimbursements they were seeking were prior to the deadline of June 2021. For property acquisition that occurred in 2017. So we notified them right away and let them know that those funds or that request was ineligible for reimbursement. Then in December, Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority reached out to us again to discuss the possibility of creating a limited partnership with Great Valley Development Corporation, Housing Development Corp, in order to transfer ownership of Foothill Terrace property from Stanislaus Regional to Great Valley. And I do have Kimberly here from Stanislaus to talk more about what that partnership looks like. I believe it's a limited partnership. Staff had conversations with CEO Hitchcock and Sarah Edwards, County Council, and we discussed this idea of this property transfer to help facilitate this project and for them to receive, Stanislaus to receive the reimbursement for the housing cost or for the housing property acquisition costs. I reached out to HCD on January 23rd, very concerned that the appearance of this did not seem an eligible experience or eligible expense. So I reached out to HCD and asked for their legal determination whether this acquisition, this packaging of the property would be eligible. And they did respond back that it would be an eligible expense. Again, having some concerns about the project and the program, I am seeking direction from you and a discussion about how we want to potentially do a new agreement with this partnership with Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority. Have other discussions about how the REAP 2.0 funding could be allocated. Or we could postpone this item, but given the short timeline, I believe that it's best to have the conversation now.
Yeah, I have a question. I need some clarity on it. Says in September 2025, SRHA submitted their first funds request in the amount of $773,000 plus. And it was determined that 676 of it was for property acquisition. Did we actually buy the property?
No, it was
Okay.
Stanislaus purchasing the property from the original developer.
So they purchased the property.
Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority purchased the property in 2017, which was prior.
Stanislaus did.
Mhm.
Okay. So then it says, we want to create a liability partnership with Great Valley Housing Development Corporation in order to transfer ownership of the property. So we now want to transfer.
Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority wants to transfer, and I'm going to have Kimberly.
Yeah, I'm just trying to understand what's going on here because it looks to me like, and I'm not sure you're going to get that cleared. And then there's this bill that's been somebody stuck with for $676,000. You're not going to get refunded through the grant. So that property's, I just trying to understand what's going on here, so.
Yes, so Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority purchased the property several years ago. We want to be able to get reimbursed for those funds. So to do that, we're creating a partnership that will include Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority and Great Valley Housing Development Corporation, that's a nonprofit. Together, that'll make an LP for Foothill Terrace LP. That'll provide a nexus for the transfer and purchase of that property, making that date come back up into where we were able to be reimbursed for those funds or for that purchase. Is there more questions on that?
Yeah, there looks like there is.
I was hoping for more information before I make any statement and maybe public comment, but I guess I would like to learn more about from you what this plan is. If you could elaborate some more on how Stanislaus Housing plan to meet the deadlines. But I have questions, but I feel like maybe my questions might be answered by you guys first.
Sure.
Is that okay with the board?
Can I?
Okay.
I'll continue to speak. Okay. So I do have some comments and maybe this will help. I feel like I'm reiterating what Kathy has said, but good morning, Chairperson Stopper and members of the board. My name is Kim Ryan, and I'm here on behalf of Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority regarding action item 17. This item requests approval to amend the REAP agreement to add a limited partnership to Foothill Terrace LP. The LP is a partnership between the Housing Authority and Great Valley Housing Development, a nonprofit corporation. That transaction will be able to provide a purchase date that will be within the parameters of the REAP agreement. With this amendment, we can transfer the property to the partnership, allowing the acquisition costs to qualify for reimbursement. The REAP funding is essential to the project, and without it, this affordable housing project would be put on hold. The project is in good position with approved plans and much of the development work already underway, including not limited to submitting applications for sewer and water and connections, working with the sanitation district on sewer line modifications and payment of building permits. Currently, over $545,000 in pre-development costs are ready for reimbursement. And depending on the timing of the amendment, the acquisition cost of around $700,000 would be eligible within 2 to 3 weeks. We'd have to do the transfer and get that all done. Combined, over $1.2 million will be expended in the next 30 days if this all works out. The remaining REIT funds of about $330,000 will cover the following eligible costs: in engineering, project management, legal and consulting fees, utility connections, and financing costs through September of 2026, all occurring prior to the December 31st, 2026 expenditure deadline. I also want to thank Kathy and the other staff members for their time and efforts on this project. Kathy was available to answer questions throughout the process and leveraged her contacts with HCD to provide quick responses, helping to keep the project on track. Your approval today will keep the project on track to expend the REIT funds prior to the expenditure deadline and help deliver much needed affordable housing. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Ms. Fulldorf, you said what she had to say. Did you want to go to public comment real quick first?
Yes, okay, yeah, that's, yep. I was writing questions down, but yes.
Any public comment or staff comments that anybody would like to add? Mr. Maurer. Our pleasure.
Good morning, Peter Maurer. I'm representing Habitat for Humanity. I'm now on the board of directors for that organization. Changed my public sector hat for the nonprofit sector.
Awesome.
I don't want to put any shade on Stanislaus Housing Corporation, but that project has been kicking around for 20 years, and I really don't see a lot of movement on that. You know, Kathy's done a great job of looking for funding for a variety of different housing opportunities. But I think that a project that is going to immediately provide housing for community members in Calaveras County is the Eureka Oaks project in Angels Camp. I know it's in city limits. It doesn't help our RHNA numbers, but the majority of the applicants for those homes that are going to be built are county residents. I don't know the exact numbers. Perhaps Emily on our staff can provide that for you. This is a multi-year project, but we are ready to start building homes in the next couple of months. We've got outstanding costs for the infrastructure that meet the requirements for the REIT 2.0 funding, and this will help us move forward with this project. This is not a one-off project. This is, you know, Habitat for Humanity Calaveras has been around for a long time. We intend to be here for much longer. Once this project is done, we will be looking for similar projects in other communities in the county. We already provide services throughout the county with our rehab program and our veterans build programs. So we're here to stay, and we have immediate need for whatever funding is available to help build these homes to allow moderate income housing to be constructed and families moved in almost immediately. So I'm asking that the board direct staff to put this back out or revise, I don't know what the terminology is, but to ask for other applicants to be able to apply for this money. You know, it almost seems like a sleight of hand. You know, the property was acquired years ago by Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority. They don't qualify for the money under the current setup, so they're, you know, making an arrangement with another organization to buy it, but there's no real movement on the development. Yet Habitat is moving forward, and we could really utilize these funds. So that is our ask. One final thing, Ben, I'd like to reach out to you. All the other supervisors have been to the site. If you'd like to view the site, you know, I'd love to coordinate with you and take you on a tour of the site. So
excellent. I would love that. Ms. Gotchi also wrote me an email. I need to touch bases with her and you, and let's get out there. I mean,
all right, great, thank you.
I'm not going to leave Angels Camp without the frog, though.
You've been out there, yeah. I think all of you have been out there. You were at our event, Home for the Holidays event in November. That was great. As Martin, Amanda, and Autumn have been as well. So, any questions of me?
Yeah, I recognized the voice, but I really didn't recognize you right away.
A little winter growth here.
All the years you were here, you never had a beard, so. Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and you did say you were a loss for words, and that coming from our former wordsmith, I'm having a hard time doing it.
Speak again, or is that okay? Where's that? I don't know.
We're still on public comment, and then we'll bring,
Okay.
this is an ongoing consideration.
Good morning. My name is Tim Oskey. I'm a proud business owner serving all of Calaveras County and beyond. I'm a board member for Mark Twain Hospital Community Board. I'm current chair for Destination Angels Camp, an economic development nonprofit that serves all of Calaveras County, an appointed board member for the 39th District Fair Board. And last but not least, I am a board president for Habitat for Humanity of Calaveras County, an affiliate of Habitat International serving all of Calaveras County for the last 20 years. As you can see, I'm a man who wears many hats in this community, and I'm proud to call Calaveras my home and pay taxes here. There are many people less fortunate than myself who cannot afford to own a home in Calaveras County, which brings me here today. It is the intention of Habitat's board to ask the Board of Supervisors to grant our affiliate current REAP funds for a shovel-ready project in Calaveras County. And if it so pleases the board, I would also like to read a letter from the current mayor of the City of Angels Camp, Miss Caroline Shirato. I will put this to the board. This letter was written on February 9th, 2026, addressed to the Calaveras County Board of Supervisors. In reference to support Habitat for Humanity Calaveras to receive REAP funds. To whom it may concern, I am writing to express support for the Habitat for Humanity Calaveras to receive REAP funds. As mayor of the City of Angels Camp, I have seen firsthand the important role Habitat for Humanity Calaveras plays in serving Calaveras County residents through housing assistance, home repair, and community-based programs. Habitat Calaveras has an established presence in our county and a strong history of collaboration with local partners. Their current project in Angels Camp, Eureka Oaks, is a 107-unit workforce housing development, which is shovel-ready and will support the workforce both in the city and the county. Habitat for Humanity's mission is to provide decent, affordable housing for low-income homeowners while improving neighborhoods and property values. Habitat Calaveras and the Home Repair Program are a crucial service for our community. I encourage you to consider Habitat for Humanity Calaveras to receive REAP funds. Should you have any additional questions, please feel free to contact me at 209-736-2181. Sincerely, Caroline Shirato, Angels Camp Mayor, City of Angels Camp. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Hi there, Chair and Vice Chair. My name is Emily Dondero. I'm the Resource Development Manager at Habitat for Humanity Calaveras. I'm happy to be here. For those of you that don't know me, I just want to give a little background to the fact that I grew up here in Calaveras County in Valley Springs, and now I live here in Murphy's, California. I think it's also important, as you understand, as the Resource Development Manager for Habitat for Humanity Calaveras, I wake up every morning and I think about how we're going to fund Eureka Oaks. I'm very passionate about this project. I know the impact that this project will have for our community and beyond. Lots of family and friends are applying for these homes. So to me, looking for funds and figuring out how to move this forward is very important. Also, I just want to, a little background as well. The past 20 years, I've been working on looking for funds and bringing them back to Calaveras County in different capacities. I've received PG&E funds, California Energy Commission funds, and state and federal funds for our water agencies.
Utica Water and Power Authority. So this is something that I've been doing for the past 20 years. I just want to say that our Eureka Oaks project, it's shovel ready. And these REAP funds would help us start building homes in the next month. We have homeowners lined up. They're in the pipeline. We're speaking with people right now that are ready to have homes. And I think it's very ironic as well, just after the public health presentation, talking about seniors, talking about our families, these homes are going to have a great impact. And so whatever we can do at a county level and a city level and as a community level to support this project is very important. And I look to all of your guys' leadership to help this project and help Habitat for Humanity Calaveras, because we are looking at a long-term partnership with the local jurisdictions and everyone here. And I personally, on a daily basis, continue to look for large fundings, specifically for unincorporated areas and for the next project after Eureka. So thank you for your time.
Any further public comment online?
We have no online public comment.
Make sure I got everyone out here. We'll bring it back to you momentarily. So, were there more questions you want to ask specifically, Ms. Folder?
No, we can hear.
Okay. I have some more questions real quick before you come up.
Sure.
It will be up to you, so you can answer them at the same time as you do the rest of your song and dance. 2017, the property was acquired. Or right? Yeah, I was in here over there at that time, Gary. You were part of that work. Where did the funding come from at the time?
Just our general fund.
General funds from Stanislaus.
Stanislaus Regional Housing.
Okay. And so Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority, where do they get their general fund from?
Various programming, grants, affordable housing projects that we do. It's a
Right.
Yeah.
It's not a general fund in the sense that we have a general fund at the county, because it's specific to uses that you facilitate.
And it needs to be used in a certain way.
Often than not, those general funds, those are grants are specific to the counties.
So
It's a question. These
like refunding, is that what you mean? Like, yes.
Yeah, the grants are specific, like, let's say this one was specific to the development that was bought here.
No, the money's used to purchase the property?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. That's part of my questions right now, so
You wanted to say something, so I was gonna let you talk, but.
Yeah, I just want to, reiterate that we are in a really great position. And I know there's projects going on in Calaveras other than ours. But it's a good project, and we're going to 26 homes, to be sold for low income affordable housing. So we just want to make sure that you guys also, embrace that Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority wants to put their best foot forward, creative, and trying to make sure we can expend the refunds and all that good stuff. So just hoping for consideration on all of the things that we've already done to this point and ready to start construction. And so just asking for more consideration on that.
Could you elaborate on construction? Because most of the money that's being proposed here is to repurchase the property that you already own, but where does it factor into actually starting construction?
The other funding will be typically what we're going to be using is conventional loan to start construction. So that will be separate. These funds are for pre-development costs, which include acquisition, which include sewer connections, waters, meters, all of the things that you do pre-construction, right? Architecture, engineering, those types of things. So all of these funds go towards that.
Okay. So why, I'm gonna put you on the spot, and I know you may not have the answer. In the past, the county has expressed interest in buying this property from your organization. Why during this process was there not consideration for the county, re-dialogue for the county to purchase it? and or instead put partnership with Habitat.
Say the last one again.
Partnership with Habitat. Why, I understand that you have a longstanding relationship with the current developer that you want to do this acquisition with, but we haven't seen anything. The county has expressed interest in buying this property, so we could hit the ground running and partner with the partners that we currently have, knowing and seeing results in just the last 10 years. We've been begging for this build out. And I'm concerned that with this acquisition, it's going to further delay the pre-construction. I understand that it needs to be for those things, but the acquisition is going to take a big chunk. So has there been any dialogue, or would there be interest from Stanislaus Housing to reconsider a different acquisition process? Or partnership with another, and I'm using Habitat as an example, but maybe another local entity here in Calaveras County. I know you guys have a lot of other projects going on in the Central Valley, but we need it now. We're struggling. We can't get enough provide that housing currently. So I just, what is that thought process there? Because we are, as a county, want to see development now on those projects. We don't want it sitting there for another 20 years.
Just a little back history that I know of the Foothill Terrace. There's been definitely, start and stop sort of because of funding and those types of things. And we need to keep it affordable. And those come with restrictions and obstacles, right? And the grant funding, all these types of things, put restrictions on the property and how to move forward. Of course, I can't speak completely for the housing authority all by myself, but I would say what we'd be interested in learning about, partnerships. I didn't know that the county was wanting to purchase the property. Maybe that was discussed prior to me coming along. But it would be something we could discuss as well.
Okay.
But also you talk about the timing of it. This right here, this agreement and amending the agreement will move this project along. And we're in that spot where it would just kickstart us over and allow us to move forward with the construction.
Okay. I think that was all I had. And I'm asking those questions because I was surprised that now another nonprofit is coming in with this acquisition when we've been begging for Stanislaus Housing, Regional Housing Authority to sell it to us.
Okay.
And so I just question that, yeah.
Right.
Okay, that's all I have
Okay.
for right now. Thank you, Chairman.
No problem. Was there something further, Mr. Hubbard?
I just had a question for county council. What would be the process if we were to look at the Habitat request today? I mean, how does this pan out?
So, as Ms. Galino mentioned, this board did approve, we issued a notice of funding availability. We had 2 applicants, one of which was Regional Housing Authority. Habitat was not one of the applicants at that time. The board did enter into this agreement to sub-award the grant funding to the Regional Housing Authority. That agreement, the contract between the county and the Regional Housing Authority, can be terminated by either party on 15 days notice. So, I mean, it's the board's prerogative. If for whatever reason, either because you're uncomfortable with this transaction, which, as Ms. Galino said, she did run it past HCD and they did say it would be acceptable. But if the board is not comfortable either with this transaction or just for any other reason, or quite frankly, no reason, the board does have the ability to terminate this agreement, at which point the board could then direct another competitive process or however you would want to proceed.
Thank you.
So we originally with this agreement, we approved the money. You said we approved the money through going through the Board of Supervisors for Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority.
Correct.
When was the date we did that?
It was, I believe, June of 2025, but don't.
Okay, yeah.
June
Just try-
23rd.
I'm trying to remember it
It was last
around the time, yeah, so we're a little past 6 months. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my filter. And look, I said something during the last meeting on a different issue, is something I prefer to collaborate than debate. But something when it comes to debating is Occam's razor. You know, in a debate, the simplest answer is the right answer. And right now, it seems like the simplest answer right now is the ones that are doing successful affordable housing in Calaveras County. And we've continually worked with Stanislaus Regional Housing Authority. And I'm 20 years, I'm still looking for results. And I'm having a hard time with that. And that seems pretty complicated to me for us to do a shell game. So someone can get their money back for a piece of property, which this is what I heard. You're getting your money back for a piece of property so you can because you got other things you're doing successful in the valley. I'm not asking for an answer to this. This is what I heard. You got a lot of successful things going on in the valley. And you're trying to reacquire the money back to move forward with this project in partnership with someone else so that they can do the project for you. That seems pretty complicated to me. That's all. I'm having a hard time after 20 years sticking with the complicated route to nothing. All right, that's the end of my filter.
One other thing I'd like to mention is looking at the Great Valley Housing Development website. A lot of these projects are not, frankly, what we need. This Foothill Terrace is next door to an elementary school, next to our government center, next to our hospitals, where we need family housing, 2 to 3 bedrooms. So it just seems the model really isn't fitting, in addition to the other concerns of just dragging on for years and years.
I heard you. Mr. Hubbard.
I actually would like to motion that we do discontinue the agreement with Stanislaus Housing, and
We'll look at.
So that's not on today's agenda, but
Yeah,
we can
right.
certainly
We
bring
give
that back.
direction.
But yeah, give direction for that to subsequently
Open.
back.
Open.
We're gonna do that.
Okay.
For other, may I make a suggestion, council? Not so much that we're gonna, that's one of the options, but moving forward, what are the options and who's willing to partner with us and where can we go with a contract like this with people that are willing to? Yes. It's not so much terminate right away, because we gotta have to have our options, right?
Well, no, so
Okay.
right now, there's a contract to pass through the grant funds to a particular organization. So if the board is interested in altering that, throwing the grant funds back out for a different sub-award,
That's what
first you would have to terminate the
Okay.
contract.
Gotcha. So. There you go.
That's what I did.
But we can't terminate.
So termination of the contract is not on today's agenda, but
The
you're
next meeting.
giving direction, but I think the Ms. Galino agenda is this item to get board direction on next steps. So certainly
Cool.
all of that direction is.
Is that your suggestion on direction for the next steps?
It is mine, yes.
And I would like to add to, they'll continue discussing with Stanislaus Housing what to do with that property. And if that means that we look at alternative partnerships within our own community or even the county being the lead to take ownership of that property so we can get the correct type of housing we need in that. I would like to see that dialogue lit, whatever, again, with Stanislaus Housing and figure out a path forward. But we need housing tomorrow, and I believe the biggest return on our investment is what Supervisor Hubbard recommended.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. Brett Sampson, your Planning Director. I think that's a very good point, Supervisor Fullendorf. If the direction is to terminate the contract, I believe the next step would be to then authorize going back out with another NOFA, notice of funding availability, and then Stanislaus Housing, along with anyone else who's interested, could put together, proposals and options. It wouldn't just be, we're going directly with Habitat for Humanity. It would be open for everybody, and people could propose that. One thing I wanted to make sure is, any kind of affordable housing project that happens within the county, we do get RENA credit for. The Habitat for Humanity project, we would not get RENA credit number for. What we'd be looking to do is, if we did get down that road, and if we did go with funding of availability, and the Habitat for Humanity applied, and the board was so inclined to move forward with that option, we'd be looking to negotiate with the City of Angels on some type of RENA swap or memo of understanding that would be approved through the state, where we would get, hopefully, some RENA credit or some kind of trade-off there. So I just wanted to make sure the board was aware of that. As it stands right now, we wouldn't be getting RENA credit, but we would be looking to negotiate that in the future if that was the pleasure of the board. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
And I understand those credits and they are valuable to the jurisdiction, but that aside, I feel that that's an unrealistic mandate that the state pushed on to local jurisdictions and doesn't look at it collectively at a global because at the end of the day, regardless of what jurisdiction it is investing in Calaveras County as a whole.
Yes.
It is providing housing as a whole. And if that means that at the end of the day, we don't get that credit, I'm okay with that, because that means we just provided over 100 homes for people. We have created another property tax base, sales tax base, and investment into our community. So to me, I see that more of a win than trying to fit into a mold that the state has created for all of us that is just unrealistic. So I personally am okay with that, and I'm not gonna lose sleep over.
But I think exactly to your point, I think the state would be accepting of a transfer because of exactly what you said. What Pete Bauer said before.
I have no problem going back down to Sacramento and standing in front of that housing board again and reminding them of the unrealistic mandate that they put on jurisdictions. I've done it once, I'll do it again.
Yeah, Ms. Fullendorf, thank you for saying that, because I think, Mr. Maurer, you were in 2019, you were at a CSAC convention where you sat down with the LA planning director and we're talking this very issue. And it was a one size doesn't fit all conversation, and then LA back to your one size doesn't fit all combination up with a one size doesn't really fit anybody. And so to the same exact point you had, Ms. Fullendorf, so thank you very much. So right now I'm in a position to start feeling like I could support what Ms. Fullendorf and Mr. Hubbard are talking about. Is there further conversation or questions you'd like to ask? All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion for direction.
Yeah, so just to clarify, I mean, so I think the sort of the primary ask that Ms. Glino had is whether or not the board is open to an amendment to our existing agreement to allow for this transaction. And it sounds like the answer to that is no. So I think you have your direction there. And then the question is what you would like to bring staff to bring back.
I do have one question. They applied for $773,000 on the grant and denied 676 of it. So there's about $100,000 there. Are they going to get reimbursed that $100,000 because it was acceptable for grant? So that lowers the amount that's available?
That is a decision. If you terminate, then it terminates. I mean.
Then it terminates. Okay. I just wanted to make sure that.
So their original.
They wouldn't get credit for that and get reimbursed from the grant.
They could.
That amount.
They could. I mean, that's a decision for the board. I mean, it depends at what point you terminate. So they did submit a reimbursement for the property and for permit fees. So technically, we could reimburse them for the permit fee because that is an eligible expense. I would want to reach back out to HCD because then we'd be potentially doing another notice of funding opportunity and either getting a new partner or another set of partners.
I think it would be prudent for Ms. Galino to get direction from the state on that.
Okay.
And I mean, and I mean,
had a
also
question
how the
because I
contract
saw-
works.
Because I saw that it was only 676 of the 773 they were asking for.
Correct.
I'm in agreement. The rest of the board.
So then the direction is to come back with,
Who's giving direction? I'm listening. Amanda.
Okay, so somewhere between the two of us, I think the direction, the direction is to, I guess the word I used was terminate the current agreement. Put it back out and see, even if Stanislaus Housing want to bid again, this is not stopping them. If they have another plan, they want to put in the proposal of actually getting some of this stuff done, I think none of us, my understanding is consensus is we're not comfortable with this acquisition. So that's where I would like to see, did that acquisition look differently between the county or another developer in this county to ensure that it gets done? What is that partnership? When you're saying partnership, what does that partnership look like? I don't know. So direction is staff, explore that more with Stanislaus Housing. In the meantime, put it back out, see what applications we get. That gives it, and then those applications, I guess I'm using the right terminology. Well, we look at those applications and whatever is the best opportunity, the board will redecide. And if it is Stanislaus Housing again, then it's Stanislaus Housing. If it's Habitat, it's Habitat, but put it back out and bring it. And then the board will decide at that time what measures the height.
The only thing I would add to that is what is the time frame for this happening? Because obviously time is of the essence.
So, I mean, the termination you said could be done.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the way I would frame it is, the ask was whether the board was willing to amend the existing agreement, which my understanding is that is a necessity for this to move forward with our current agreement. And so the board is saying, no, they're not comfortable with this amendment. So I think that this is going to then necessitate a termination, which we can do on 15 days notice. And then I would have to defer to Ms. Galino on what the timeline for putting out another notice would be.
So the notice would need to go out after the termination, correct? So 15 days from today, tomorrow, whenever you decide to do that. Or does that action need to come back?
That's what needs to come back, right?
Okay,
Because that was not.
so I can bring that back in. Right, so seeing that the next board meeting's in 14 days, that's not 15.
March
Correct.
10th.
Well, we have to vote on. I apologize. I got myself, Susan. Turn on my own mic. It would be 14 days before we made the decision to move forward with a termination, right?
I would,
And then it would go 15 more days after that?
I think that both items could hypothetically be brought back at our next meeting.
Okay. So the next meeting would be February 20.
No, 15 days makes it March 3rd.
Yeah.
And so.
No, it's not.
March.
Both items could come back, coincide.
Yeah, I think that they can come back at the same time.
No, I'm saying 15 working days.
Well, yeah, we meet on Tuesdays. That's only 14 days away, Martin. I mean, that's one day.
I guess what I apologize if I wasn't being clear. I think that the board could take action at the same meeting to provide the 15 days notice of termination and to take whatever the next step is.
Okay. So then that could be on February 27th. 24th. Thank you.
24th.
February 24th. Then I can return it February 24th.
And then there's more work. And hopefully we can, wherever it may go, we can simplify this and get something that's substantial in the near future.
What did?
I can support that type of direction, Amanda. Is the board in favor for that direction as a whole? Yes, yes, yes. Looks like we have yes.
Apologies.
Sarah, thank you for
Can I know I have a motion by Supervisor Follander, but who's our seconder? I just want to make sure.
okay.
There's no motion.
We're given direction.
It's an action.
Yeah. I'm
I'm ready to go.
Right.
Okay, move, everything I said, moved by me, Martin second.
I'll second.
There we go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, thank you.
It seems like we got a consensus of the board. No matter how painful we made it.
Yep.
Okay, one more.
Item 18, informational item, economic and community development. Receive a presentation on the 2025-2029 permanent local housing allocation program and provide direction to staff on the housing activities to be pursued.
Good
Ms.
morning.
Galino.
Good morning, Chair Stopper, Honorable Board, Kathy Galino, Economic and Community Development, and today we have a presentation to give an update on where we are with our current PLHA, which is our permanent local housing allocation funding, and discussion on what we should do for the future. And I have Marcos Munoz here with me today.
Good morning, Chair, members of the board. Glad to be here.
And we've just got a quick presentation.
Marcos. We take a 5-minute break before this one. No? Is that okay, Kathy? Can we?
Absolutely.
All right. That we've been told yes.
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 5-minute break.
5-minute break.
Ready. We're back.
We're back. Thank you. The boss has
Do we want-
spoken.
Okay, I just don't know if you wanted. Usually you read out the item.
We already did.
She does. She already did prior to us taking a break.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Good morning, Chair Stopper, Honorable Board, Kathy Galino, Economic and Community Development. And today with me, I also have Marcos Munoz. And we're here to talk about our permanent local housing allocation, where we are today and looking forward for our next 5 years, and direction from the board. Start this. All right, so a little bit about the permanent local housing allocation, or PLHA. The county receives funds back from the state from every real estate transaction. When there's a $75 assessment fee on each transaction, those funds come back to the county of origin. It's a continual funding stream that can be used for our local housing needs and our initiatives. Our upcoming 5-year cycle will begin 2025 through 2029. It will require a 30-day public notice period, a board resolution, and a work plan submittal. There are 10 eligible activities that these funds can be used for. As included in your packet, it looks very similar to that. So the 10 items are pre-development, for extremely low, very low, lower moderate income households, for pre-development, acquisition, rehabilitation, for workforce housing, earning up to 120% of AMI. There are 10 other items or 7 other items on here, but wanted to provide you with those options, all 10 of them. And then also provide you with some feedback on where we are today and what the needs are as we see them for the county for housing for our communities. I'm not going to go through all these, but there's some other options that we in the past have not been directed to go towards. So going back to the process here. So currently the county will receive $1.29 million of PLHA funds for years 2019 through 2024. We have 3 current programs that we're administering now. One of them is pre-development, which is 50% of the funding for promoting workforce housing creation. Again, it's for people making between 80 and 120% of area median income, which is quite a bit of the population in Calaveras County. We also have eligible activity number 7, which is the home modification assistance program. 10% of the funding that we were allocated has been moved for that purpose. Then we also have eligible activity number 9, which is the down payment assistance program. And 33% of our funding was allocated for that, for grants up to $30,000 for down payment assistance. This round of funds need to be expended by 2030. So we had several meetings with Marcos and Lee and Brett and folks to discuss what we're seeing as the needs in our county for housing. Pre-development, especially the cost of infrastructure for housing construction and development, seems to be a continual need. We're recommending that 60% of future funding be maintained for that purpose. We want to add eligible activity number 6, which I will let Marcos talk about.
Sure, I'm gonna take a quick step back and going back to the previous slide. Can you go back one? So currently we run the home modification assistance program. To date, we've had 2 completed projects and we have 3 that are currently in process. For the down payment assistance, we have completed 1 application. We are currently finding it hard to find people who meet the requirements that are able to actually get a loan because The down payment assistance is essentially a grant anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000. But you have to meet the income requirements and you have to be able to be approved for a loan through the bank. And unfortunately, that has proven to be difficult at this time. So moving on to our ask, in looking at the services we have been providing, we have looked around to see if it's already been offered, and the home modification program is offered by other nonprofits, not just by us. So we did not include that in our ask for the next 5 years. We did include number 6. And the reason why we included number 6 is for those who are experiencing risk of homelessness. We have in Health and Human Services funding sources that are specific to families with kids, specific to foster kids, older adults, but we don't have any funding sources specific to single adults. And so many times we get people referred to us that are single adults and we just don't have a funding source. And so that's why we put number 6 as a request in under the PLHA activities. We did put number 9 again, and as I just mentioned, we are having a hard time. The only reason why we put this in is because we don't have another program like this. But I do understand if the board has different direction, we're fine if they want to see this in pre-development. I would like to see more in number 6, or if you guys want to see home modification program. I just put this on here as what we are proposing, but again, it is up to the board on what you would like to see done. So those are what we put on there. Number 6, Health and Human Services is asking because we don't have another funding source. We are asking to discontinue number 7 because it is offered amongst other programs, other nonprofits. And number 9, we are asking to continue.
And then I'd like to talk a little bit more about number 2, which is the pre-development. Currently, we have not allocated any funds. I'll be very honest. I was been very focused on REAP, and being that this funding has a 2030 deadline for expenditure, but I have received several, and I have them listed here. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects in queue. The applications are not completed. There's still some data that's missing. But I have a project in San Andreas, a project in Valley Springs. Habitat for Humanity has submitted a request for PLHA funds as well. There's one in Arnold, and another investor or another developer is looking at a couple of different locations for individual housing. So I've got a queue ready to go.
All public comment online.
We have no online public comment.
Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion.
Have some questions.
Ms. Bullhorn,
Okay.
pull the trigger.
Okay, so, hold on, sorry. I'm gonna go back to number 7. I recognize that there's other organizations that do this, and I understand that philosophy from staff. However, don't they need this funding to execute those projects? I mean, they're also seeking out grants, so could we not be the pass-through agency to continue to support their work? I mean, in our county alone, well, I look at the newest neighborhood, and the newest neighborhood in the city of Angels is the same age as me. I mean, houses are aging fast, and we need to support that, keep that value in those homes. But some of those individuals, inflation's going up, but their paychecks are not, and so they need that support. So I guess my question for 7 is, can we be the pass-through agency if we were to reconsider number 7, not just my personal, to support those modifications for home?
Absolutely. We could, and we don't have to administer it in Health and Human Services. We could work with an organization that already has a program, and we could subcontract with them to administer the program. But absolutely, that can be considered, yes.
Okay, so that's number 7. Number 9, I'm concerned with the data. If we're only having one I feel that more of the need is in stabilizing existing homes, which would then lead back to number 7 and getting more development. If no one's using it, I don't want to throw money at something that we consistently have seen the data and not with no results. I mean, why hold a funding for one, even if we get 2, to me, the money doesn't justify then the return. And I'd rather put that investment into one of the other options that is in the board, in the proposal. But that's all unless there's some other shocking numbers that you guys have, but based on the staff report, we're only pulling 1. I feel like we're gonna get more of a return on investment in the other options. Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah. We can help out Angels Camp a little more. No, I'm not arguing. No, I'm not. Amanda, let me finish. Because I do see a roadmap to success there in certain instances, and seeing that money being realized and provided to the community is important to me. So I would retract some of my previously said statements over the years, because success is what we're all working towards. But also, I mean, Kathy, you've heard it, the rest of the board's heard this, all you have in the past, while the Ms. Foldorf's newest development is potentially her age in Angels Camp, we have quite a bit newer developments in District 1 and District 2. And she also has newer developments inside the Copperopolis area and everything. So with that, our biggest struggle is infrastructure. Because we can, put all this money to build homes, and if we can't provide water, we can't, process the wastewater, so on and so forth throughout communities such as in San Andreas, because even Stanislaus brought up earlier that, negotiating with San Andreas Sanitary District is a thing, because to get in there, you have to convey that stuff to the plant, and you have to have capacity. So that's part of the count. So definitely keeping number 2 for pre-development in there is crucial to the whole of success. So I would just say that, and then in support of what she said, we have to keep pre-development in there, absolutely, or we're not gonna be able to realize anything after that.
Yeah, I'd like to reiterate what Supervisor Follendorf said, and also point out that Area 12 does support 4 counties in total, and this would be money coming directly to Calaveras. So I'd like to revisit that if we could.
Any other?
I will also, I'm definitely in favor of 2. I think that's very important. We do need that pre-development work. I think 9 could be useful if we promoted it more and had like a basic fact sheet on it, or something to that avenue. But if we don't have the homes to buy, maybe it's not, the time isn't necessarily now. Can we, if we were to choose, 4 of these, and say in 2028, 29, if it's not being used in one area, can it move in between? Can it come back to us and say, okay, that hasn't been touched and this area is greatly being used? Can we reallocate?
Yes, you can.
Place hold these things for now, and then that's a possibility. Okay.
Yes, you can.
Good to know.
That's been the shell game we've been playing all along.
We have, okay. Because I think there, like you said, there's a need for all of these things. It's just finding the people to fill them.
And maybe there's an opportunity for us to partner with another entity for the loan readiness program, or the down payment assistance. It's about, doing some counseling and getting folks loan ready, right? What's your credit score? Are you pre-qualified? What do you qualify for?
Yes.
And so, there might be an opportunity to partner with another financial organization or counseling.
And I from what I heard, what you said earlier is, getting someone that qualifies for a loan at the same time within the parameters of, needing affordable housing is kind of like what, it doesn't work out because the bank's like, oh, you don't make enough, for this type, for this amount of a home. And then they have to be making less than that amount. And that's what I'm hearing is that is a major obstacle. And at the same time, also with no new homes, but the no homes is not the issue 100% because it's past residents that homes have been built 20 years ago. But when someone's selling their house, they're going to want to lower it for affordable housing. And so that fits within, so it's low enough so that the bank will approve it based on the lower income.
So it is challenging. I do want to point out that our current allocation does go through 2030. We have till 2030 to spend. So the activities for the home modification, the down payment assistance, and the pre-development does have until 2030. The new activities are not changing those past ones, but it is moving forward. And so what I'm hearing is number 2 is definitely we should be moving forward with that. And I've heard potentially number 9 should be shifted back to number 7.
Just real quick, I'm gonna reopen public comment real briefly for Mr. Mauer, if you would like.
Thank you for doing that. I just want to reiterate what you've been talking about as far as number 9. We are now in that phase. It's exactly what Habitat does. We have a 4-part education program that each potential buyer goes through, and these are for sale homes. They have to be able to qualify for a loan. And so in the past, we weren't doing that because we weren't ready in this stage of the development, but now we are. We're interviewing prospective applicants. We're working with them on the joys of homeownership, the financial requirements, and how do you get a loan, and working with our financial institutions to help these people qualify for loans. And this would be sort of a perfect fit for getting people into these homes that we will be building at Eureka. Thank you. So I would recommend that you keep number 9 in.
As long as you guys fit within the parameters, it's a consideration. Mr. Mauer.
You have to work with Marcos on that.
So.
All right, for public comment?
Okay.
It's very quick. I won't use 3 minutes or anything.
Okay.
Get
to it then.
Just from my experience with Habitat and addressing number 9 and I believe number 6, which is fixing homes. We have found that down payment assistance can be a very effective tool for limiting limited segments of buyers. It's very tough. But it does not address the core challenge, which is our most urgent need of increasing housing and fixing up the houses that we currently have. So it's nice to know that you can reallocate the money. So I appreciate that question that you proposed. And I agree with Mr. Mauer that you should keep all of those categories, especially with the knowledge that you can reallocate the money.
It's always good to keep our options open. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm asking for direction from the board on how we want to move forward. I think we pretty much said it. I mean, you want to reiterate it one more time, Marcos, so that the board can tell you you're right?
But I heard pre-development is definitely, we need to move forward with that. There was discussion that maybe 9 should be moved over into number 7. And I do want to point out currently, I'm looking at my numbers here. We have approximately $400,000 of the down payment assistance that we have to spend by 2030. So that is what is currently in the pot from the previous. So going forward, what I heard is potentially moving 9 back to number 7, which is the home modification. And then and outside of that, keep everything else the same. So
I have a question on what you just said about that 400,000. May I? If we get, to Autumn's point, we can reallocate that 400 if we don't get anybody. Okay, I'd rather see it sooner than later. I don't want this board to be put under a gun with a 6 month, timeline. So if we're not seeing something in a year, I'd rather modify that and then re-modify this the 2025-2029 allocation and reinvest back in the number 9 if that means increasing. Does that make sense? That just, yeah.
I agree, like an update.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need, I agree, we need an update. You could, see where we're at in the year and bring it back. Show us the percentages, where we're at, what's going on, if we need to move things around.
But we do have currently $400,000 in the last allocation for the number 9. This is talking about future allocation that we're deciding right now. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay. Is everyone in agreement? Marcos is right. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 4-1. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, this one was direction information. Yeah. Look forward to putting together some success in the future.
Absolutely.
I'll go ahead and do this next part if you're okay with it, Ms. Simpson. Okay, we're gonna do supervisors announcements. And then I'm gonna let Ms. Simpson read the report back from last closed session, and then we'll move on, have her read out this closed session. And we'll adjourn after this closed session in the next meeting, I guess. I don't know how that goes. How do we adjourn?
We will recess into closed session. We'll have closed session, then we'll adjourn today's meeting and we'll report out at our next
Okay,
meeting.
okay, there we go. Martin, you're number 1.
Thank you. I'll be fast. 29th, I attended the Fire Safe Council in Murphy's. On the first, great idea for a fundraiser in our county was a bootleggers tour. This came from the Angels Camp Museum Foundation. And it was a distillery tour at 5 different places, but they did it all in places that the general public wouldn't normally go. So for example, we saw the inside of the Oddfellows home, a lodge, which I'd never seen. We went into old historic buildings. It was a walking tour, nobody was driving. And it was just a really smart way of making some good money for the foundation. On the 3rd, I attended the behavioral health. On the 4th, the EPOC meeting, which is the Ebbets Pass property owners. On the 5th, I did a speech with the Rotary. Yesterday, I signed up to run again, and I wanted to.
I'm sorry.
This guy's amazing. His name is Michael Ott. He lives in Arnold. He just came up with this game. This is his 8th game. It's called Haphazard, and you have to take your little frogs, and you have to start off in the mud puddle. You have to go across the sidewalk, 3 lanes of traffic, and a median, but this one's a grass one. And then another logger is to end up on a lily pad. It's actually a really fun game. It's very smart, and I just love the ingenuity. I'd also like to give a shout out to Chris and Brendan of Posterity Cider Works. They've now opened in Arnold, so now they're in Moke Hill and in Arnold, which is so cool, both ends of the county. And then just to remind everybody that Caltrans is the 25th at 6 to 8 p.m. Thank you.
Ms. Handel.
Where do you get the haphazards?
You can get them at the they're $19.99 down at the museum.
This would be fun fire gifts for fair. Any fair families watching? Okay. On January 31st, I attended the Moke Hill Lions Club Enchilada fundraiser. Great attendance there. On February 3rd, I attended the strategic planning meeting. On February 6th, I attended the First 5 Commission meeting. And on February 7th, I attended the San Andreas Fire Crab Feed dinner. That's all.
Miss.
I'm trying to think. It's been a couple weeks. So after the last board meeting that night, we had a town hall in District 4 regarding safety that we all attended in each of our districts. The one in Copper also included the City of Angels. We are still looking for comments on that. Next, I attended with Supervisor Topanelli, the COG meeting last week, and the board was recognized by Supervisor Topanelli on all the hard work with phase 1 of Wagon Trail. And so that was a really amazing, it just kudos to the board for staying together for so long to support a project and going on to the next phase of things. That's all. I think that's all I have. Yeah. Oh, and Supervisor Topanelli is not a vice chair of COG.
Mr. Toffenelli.
Well, after that, I have nothing to report. Thank you.
Next time you do distillery stumble. This palate would definitely like to taste. And also see the sights. CSAC later this week. And with that, I'll hand it over to the boss.
Okay. So report out from closed session from our last meeting on January 27th. It was pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, conference with county designated labor negotiators Teresa Hitchcock and Judy Hawkins regarding the following employee organization, Deputy Sheriff's Association. Board action, no reportable action taken. Closed session for today, we have item 19 pursuant to Government Code 54956.9D2, conference with legal counsel, re-anticipated litigation, one case, significant exposure to litigation. Item 20 pursuant to Government Code 54957.6, conference with county designated labor negotiators Teresa Hitchcock and Judy Hawkins regarding the following employee organizations: Calaveras County Public Safety Employees Association, Calaveras Management Union, Calaveras Supervisors Union, Deputy Sheriff's Association, Service Employees International Union, Local 1021, Sheriff's Management Unit.
With that.
I'm sorry, Chair, we also have there's no online public comment.
Thank you, Stacy. Anything in the room? No?
No.
Okay. With that, I'll recess into closed session and report out at the next meeting.
Thank you.
All right. Okay.